The 18th century was a time of great progress. Societies all over Europe had begun going through rapid social change. The French Revolution and the philosophers such as Voltaire, Rousseau, and Kant had introduced many new ideas on nationalism, politics, education, religion, freedom, morality, and the human mind. This period was called the Age of Enlightenment. As the Enlightenment spread across the continent, tradition, institutions, customs, and historical values that held a society together had begun to disappear. People had begun leaning towards reason rather than emotion. However, this new order had its opposers. At the beginning of the 19th century, the Romanticism movement was born as a reaction to the Enlightenment. Romantic philosophers believed that relying too much on reason severed the bonds of history, faith, and tradition that knit the society together. The Enlightenment was accompanied by the art movement called Neoclassicism. Neoclassicism was orderly, stoic, and precise. It took its inspiration from classical Rome and promoted patriotism, courage, and honor. Art had become very political at that time. The leaders of the French Revolution were using art as a propaganda tool. So was Napoleon. The art was meant to be morally uplifting and inspirational. Its tone was calm and rational. The figures stood in the foreground, their lines stressed, with no brushstrokes visible. The Romantic artists, however, took great interest in the inner world of the individual. They chose emotion over reason and senses over intellect. They strived for sincerity and honest feeling. They believed that the artist should not only paint what he sees before him, but also what he sees in himself. Romantic artists took this by heart. As a result, their works had a very subjective and individualistic nature. That is also why it is difficult to pin down the exact definition and criteria of Romantic art. Different aspects are highlighted in different artists. What they all had in common was their struggle for originality. They reflected their personality to their work. They celebrated the freedom of imagination and valued intuition over the clear-cut rules of the scientific thought. Though this sometimes meant isolation and alienation for the artist. Romantics portrayed a wide range of emotions in their work, ranging from serenity to horror, from passion to loneliness. Nostalgia was present in some works, a yearning for the past when human sympathy and sincere feeling was the most important thing in life. Tragedy, madness, and violence was also portrayed in Romantic artwork, most famously by Goya and Jericho. Romantics took inspiration from legends, exotica, medieval and Baroque art. They showed interest in Middle and Far Eastern cultures. Their color palettes consisted of rich, unrestrained color, while their brushstrokes became loose and visible. Finally, nature was an important part of Romantic paintings. It was unpredictable and capable of great extremes. Romantic artists were fascinated by its uncontrollable power. They also used it as an allegory for their thoughts and feelings. Romanticism was a truly unique period in art history because of its subjective, expressive, yet spontaneous nature. It dominated the art world until the mid-19th century, when its place was slowly overtaken by a new art movement called realism.